Welcome to Wealth Management in a Digital World. My name is Howard Atkinson, and I am the CEO of Pascal Wealth Tech, a fully integrated, intelligent, and intuitive wealth management technology platform that's specifically designed for financial advisors. We expect to launch Pascal 1.0 in Q4 of this year. Thanks for joining the session. The first step to solving any problem is to first admit that you have one. Let's look at the challenges advisors and wealth management firms in general are facing today. Many are working with fragmented and/or legacy technology, time-consuming paper-based processes, and re-entering the same data multiple times. And not only is the competition getting more sophisticated, there are new competitors. For example, this year, both Amazon and Google have launched wealth management programs in India. It is likely only a matter of time before they show up here. Now, I know the IAFP is a numbers crowd, so let's look at the numbers behind going digital. First, wealth management is far behind the crowd in innovation. Innovation in wealth management is among the least advanced in financial services, according to Next Gen Tech Survey 2021. Second, some firms are realizing the problem, and tech budgets are growing. Tech budgets will grow over the next 3 years for 61% of advisors, according to Tech and Ops Trends in Wealth Management 2021. And third, the gains to be made by going digital with the right partners are significant. Look at this data from OneSpan, one of the 15 partners that integrate into the Pascal platform. Productivity was up 60% for one of their clients using their e-signature technology. Okay, the numbers look convincing, but what are industry leaders saying about digital right now? Well, first, here's a quote from an August 12th article in Wealth Management. Clients aren't leaving their advisors because of portfolio performance. They leave because of communication and service issues. The client experience counts more than the returns. Second, here's a quote from an August 20th article in Investment News. Access, customization, and personalization is the name of the game. If you aren't using fintech to grow your client base, you're missing the point. But does my client want to go digital? Well, according to a recent CFA Institute study, 66% of investors say they trust their investment firm more because of increased use of tech. A 2021 Rubini Thought Lab survey, 82% of investors said it was important for their investment provider to stay at the forefront of technology. And a 2022 forecast by Celent Wealth Management, 66% of clients expect 100% digital onboarding in today's post-COVID environment. So 2/3 or more of investors don't just want their investment firm to use technology, they expect it. To satisfy these potential clients, you need to meet or exceed these expectations. As if direct competition is not challenging enough, in the digital age, everyone is your competitor. Liquid expectations are when a customer experiences seep over from one industry to an entirely different industry. For example, consider how customers increasingly check the way their airline flight cancellation was handled. If you recall, during the early portion of COVID pandemic, the enormous backlash against Air Canada and other carriers. Compare this against perhaps their most recent Zappos or Amazon purchase return, or compare their physician visit to a visit to the Apple Store's Genius Bar. The financial advisory industry is similarly influenced by liquid expectations. Make no mistake about it, digital is here to stay. People think we're in a bubble, but it's not a bubble, it's a change. There's been an acceleration we believe won't stop. That quote is from Sophie Forrest, managing partner of BrightSpark Financial, one of Canada's leading venture capital companies, and it appeared in the Globe and Mail on July 22nd. Digital Darwinism is unkind to those who wait. Every organization is facing a business extinction event, and those who resist change are the most vulnerable. That second quote is from Joe McKendrick, one of the world's leading enterprise tech writers, in Forbes on July 13th, talking about Ray Wang's new book, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Finally, look at this incredible growth of digital in Canada. Yes, Canada actually led the world in CRM digital revenue growth in Q1. And some of these participants may be your clients. Hopefully I've laid out the case for why advisors should implement a digital strategy. Now I'll turn to Dr. Phil to give you the tough talk. His lifelong number one, either you get it or you don't. And his strategy to cope with this is become one of those that gets it. Now you probably know Dr. Phil as a popular daytime talk show host or as an author of 9 #1 New York Times bestsellers, which have sold over 33 million copies published in 39 different languages. But you may not be aware of his Doctor on Demand virtual care service, which has taken the telemedicine industry by storm and was voted the most innovative and disruptive new technology at the 2015 Consumer Electronics Show. Apparently, Dr. Phil knows a little bit about the power of going digital. So what is a digital strategy? Well, I'd like to distinguish between a digital tool and a digital strategy. A digital tool is a single application that performs one function, like say e-signature, a CRM, or video conferencing, to cite 3 examples. In contrast, a digital strategy takes in the entire advisor practice, not just a single component of the practice. It concerns the entire client journey, and the digital tools you need for each part of that journey need to seamlessly integrate. And finally, it includes both the advisor and the client experience. The wealth tech platform of the future is similar to an orchestra conductor, integrating seamlessly all of the individual components to deliver a complete solution to the advisor and her clients. If we're going to speed up the adoption of digital technology, we need to recognize that not all advisors are the same. We need to look at the individual psychology of Canadian financial advisors, and Environomics has done something interesting work in this space. They identified 4 different advisor types when it comes to technology adoption, and predictably, they form a bell curve. First up are enthusiastic experimenters, and they are akin to early adopters in the old technology S-curve that we're all familiar with. They tend to get it on their own. So let's look at the other 3 advisor groups. For adaptive achievers, you need to make the business case for digital. Now, during the beta testing of our platform, we asked users the amount of time they believed they were saving performing routine tasks. The typical answer was up to a 50% reduction in time spent on standard administration and compliance-related functions alone. Think about all the productivity advancement that could fill that time. Our behavioral finance partner, Syntonic, surveyed 300 clients last year and found that they experienced an 86% increase in prospect conversions, a 78% increase in client engagement, and a 160% increase in referral rates. All of this from using an advanced digital client risk assessment tool. For the anxious traditionalists and reserved skeptics, we need to show them that digital truly does make their lives easier. Modern, best-in-class user experiences make digital easy to use and highly intuitive versus clunky, fragmented, and difficult to use technology. And for some, working in the cloud is still an unknown. We need to better explain the audited industry standards for cloud security. In fact, 83% of respondents in a survey for the Investment Advisors Association and ACA Compliance Group said cybersecurity is the biggest compliance concern among firms. Clients need to know that your technology is secure. Does your technology provider have detailed business continuity and disaster recovery plans? What is their information protection and security program? Are these programs to audited industry standards? What are their vendor and supplier oversight programs? Are some of the questions that need to be answered by your technology provider. By having all these processes and procedures in place, advisors and their clients can be confident their information is protected. Now that we've talked about strategies to facilitate adoption among Canadian financial advisors, where do you put your effort? Certainly your initial effort. Let's take a look at the top wealth management trends in 2021 from the Capgemini Financial Services Analysis Priority Matrix that you see here on the screen. Capgemini ranked the top 9 trends by both priority of adoption along the x-axis and, the y-axis, and the business impact along the x-axis. Take a look at the upper right box. Both highest priority and largest business impact resides here. You will find hyper-personalization technology, that's number 3, and creating technology-enabled ecosystem collaborations, that's number 9. So your clients want to be more than a risk number. They want to know that you truly get them. Digital personalization will help you be that trusted partner. Ecosystem collaborations, which incidentally is where Capgemini placed Pascal in this analysis, can help firms create operational efficiencies through a seamless digital technology strategy, bringing both the front and back offices together so they really talk with one another. When does digital end? Well, we're in the early innings of the digital transformation in wealth management, a trend that will continue through this decade. Experts call this trend the 4th Industrial Revolution, or Industry 4.0. We're not just converting analog to digital, but digital is transforming how we interact with one another. We don't operate in a linear world anymore, so change happens fast and can be significant. The good news is having a digital strategy can help you respond faster to the change that is happening in our society. In technology today, the buzzword is agile. You want agile technology and agile organizations. Technology that lets you turn on a dime and respond rapidly to industry change. You either adopt a digital strategy for your practice or you won't have a practice in the future. I delivered this message at the Wealth Professional Wealth Tech Summit in May and reinforced it on a recent podcast interview with FinTech Canada. The number one reason to adopt a digital strategy is so that you have a practice in the future. But rather than approaching this from a position of fear, let's have advisors embrace the change they need for positive reasons. Digital technology can deliver operational efficiencies to help advisors take back their time. Time for their clients, time for family, time for all the things that matter most. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. Tom Peters released a new book this year titled Excellence Now, Extreme Humanism. It talks about the importance of the human connection and the need for deep engagement. I think that is what matters most as we move forward with digital technology and wealth management, is to put people in our relationship first, to let technology serve people. And that's our vision at Pascal, to make the advisor's world better by empowering advisors with technology. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thanks, Howard. Thanks for your time in the presentation. Much appreciated. I'm glad I can go through that later because there's a lot of tech stuff there. So I'm not always the most techie person, but much appreciated. But we have some questions for you, so hope you're ready. First one, Howard. What is the biggest impediment to advisor adoption of new technology?
Thanks for the question, Peter, and thanks for the opportunity to present at the conference today. I really appreciate it. Ironically, it's just ease of use. If a technology is complex, if it has a steep learning curve, it's difficult to get used to. A lot of people, and I'm sure you've experienced this, I've experienced this, you kind of throw up your hands and say, I forget it. This is too difficult. Technology is supposed to make my life easier. It's supposed to make tasks simpler. And when it seems like it's making it more complicated, people just get rid of it. So that's why at Pascal, we focus very much on, user interface, user experience, both for the advisor, and then obviously if the clients want to experience the same thing. And that's what Liquid Expectations is kind of about, that your clients have experienced good technology in a number of different venues, e-commerce being probably the main one. And so they're starting to expect that same level of excellence in any sort of digital interaction with all of their activities, including financial advisors.
Okay. How much administrative and compliance related time can advisors save with a well-constructed wealth tech platform?
Yeah. You're testing me here, Peter. That was a trick question because that was in the presentation.
There you go. Well, it's coming back at you. So I
better know the answer to this. But we surveyed with our pilot clients and have seen industry surveys, and the number is up to 50% of a time saving on administration and compliance issues. And I know that's the bane of most advisors' existence. I mean, advisors want to look at model portfolios, maybe do some investment research and really build a relationship and solve client problems, whether investment problems, estate problems, those sort of things. And that's where their time and expertise is best spent and used. And so the last thing you want is administration and then compliance. And so if you've got a technology that has a built-in compliance trail, so you don't have to do anything extra, you just go about your business and the compliance takes care of itself. That's a huge relief on not only the advisor, but firms, because firms employ sometimes a rather large compliance department, and it's, that's overhead, and that's an expense to the firm. And so that you want to avoid that at all costs. And then just the general administration. I mean, the average advisor has 6 to 8 or more technology applications on their desktop to run their business. They don't generally talk to one another. And so you're inputting the same data over and over again, which is really just a complete waste of time. So if you can streamline that, sign in, enter information once, everything's there, and it's kind of automatically taken care of. You free up an enormous amount of time to spend with your kids, even if you don't have 6 of them, Peter, or work on your practice and spend more productive time growing your business.
I'll go mountain biking or play golf. What are some of the most sought after features of an advisor-centric digital wealth management platform?
Yeah. Again, it's kind of funny because it seems to be the simplest one. It's the whole onboarding process and client engagement is the most sought after, because that seems to be kind of the weakest component in a lot of digital offerings out there. So it's everything. It's just paperless onboarding. You want it to be digital. You want it to be fast. Again, keying that information in once, not multiple times. Having everything at your fingertips. So you call up a client, everything's on there, from all the compliance related forms from KYC, et cetera, is there. Sort of a snapshot of their household wealth, any sort of documents that you've collected. That's all at your fingertips. It makes it pretty easy to answer any questions or get ready for a consultation. So prep time, goes way down as well. So it's really the front end, if you will, of the experience, where you're getting the client on board, and then once the client's on board, you're engaging with them. So CRM, having a video conference capabilities, dedicated inbox, so it's just your business in there. You're not worried about your Amazon orders or other things coming in that have nothing to do with your business. You can just stay focused on your business at that point in time. Those are the features which seem to be the most rudimentary, but seem to be the most in demand from all the advisors that we've talked to over the last couple of years.
Okay, I've got a couple more here from the people out in the virtual world. Terry, you can't ask 10 questions. Terry, Richie, you're only allowed a couple, or else you're going to be taking over the session for me when I got to go. No. Question though from Terry Ritchie. Where are we in Canada versus the US or other developed countries?
Well, most familiar with the US, a little bit with the UK, and we're behind. There's no question we're behind, and we always seem to have a lag, as particularly with the US, maybe not quite as much with the UK. But We're a few years behind, but not drastically behind, so that there is time to catch up. The solutions that are out there right now seem to be very fragmented. So they deal with one aspect of advisor practice, and that's why you have all these different technology apps on the desktop. And the solution that you want is an all-in-one. So you go in and everything is there at your fingertips. And there's very few providers of that service. There's none in Canada that we know of that are all in one, and there's only a couple in the US and perhaps one in the UK right now. So this is a decade-long trend. This is not something that's come and going during COVID. It's going to be around way past COVID. It's not too late to get started. It's a multi-year process as well. You don't just snap your fingers and everything's right there for you. It's going to be a process to get there. So it's definitely not too late.
Another Terry, but not Terry Ritchie this time. Sorry, Terry Green. How do you go about determining a budget for this undertaking?
That's a great question. I think you need to look at what current costs you are undertaking. So whether it's compliance related costs, it's administrative costs. So that could be whatever applications you have now. So you sort of add all those up. What sort of human resource costs am I incurring? And then look, okay, this is what I'm spending now, and this is kind of the effort that I have to put in to take care of this part of my business. So right then and there, even if you took those resources and allocated them to a better technology solution, you're going to be ahead of the game. And then if you factor in how much time you're going to save, you can allocate some sort of cost or revenue stream to that and come up with a budget. We've been talking to one firm. I'll just give you, this is a great example. And they're at $3 billion in assets right now with 30 employees. And so about one employee for every 100 million in assets. So it's a fairly large and successful firm. They want to double that over the next 5 years or so. But they want to do it. So they want to go to 6 billion, but they don't want to have to go to 60 people. And they know that the only way they can do that is by harnessing technology. And then that's what they want to do. So that maybe that gives Terry, either Terry, a good answer there, hopefully.
Yeah. Question from Jackie Skinner. And this is a good one. I think when I saw this one pop up on the screen, I thought everyone wants to know this one. What do you do about elderly clients who are not really tech savvy, tech capable? Do they get left behind?
That's a great question. I think undoubtedly there's going to be some where, maybe it's very difficult for them to, adopt this technology. But I think the experience that everyone's had over COVID, I look at my own parents as an example and some other people that I know that, are maybe in their 70s and 80s. They've embraced technology because they've realized that it was very risky for them to go, out of the house and mingle and do things. So they've sort of adopted technology like never before in terms of video. My father could not have done a video conference to save his life before this, and now he's on Zoom all the time. So I think the older people have adapted to the environment mainly because they're concerned for their health to go out, but it's caused them to become a little bit more proficient from a technology standpoint. I think the other thing is that if you have a strategy to deal with millennials as well, and so you've got a succession plan, technology can help you there as well, that your millennial clients could help their elderly parents with technology, and especially if you're working with them as well, and help them use a fairly easy technology. And again, keeping that user interface intuitive, integrated and seamless will make it easier for anybody, including elderly clients, to use the technology.
A question from Lenore Davis. Sorry, Lenore. Hers was the first question in, but it got dropped down on the list so far I didn't see it. She says, this is really applicable to the wealth management sphere. How do you see it adapting to the financial planner who does not skate in that rink? I guess hockey season is coming, so we're using the rink analogy.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think that there are some tools available. I mean, obviously, you've got a digital financial planning solution that's on our roadmap to integrate into the platform as well. We also have an investor behavioral finance tool that's part of the platform. It's called Investor EQ, but it's also a standalone product, a digital product. So what that entails is that the advisor or the planner can use the behavioral finance tool to get a gauge for the client's appetite for risk It combines traditional investment management questions with behavioral finance questions, and the client ends up with a report that gives them a risk score, a dynamic risk range, because we know that risk changes over time depending on market conditions and personal circumstances. And then also talks to the client about their behaviors, biases, and blind spots, so they get an educational component. So I could see a financial planner who gets the same report that allows them to engage in a very intelligent conversation with the client, providing some feedback on what the results were and what that means to them, and it would augment, part of the financial planning process. So there are digital tools out there available for financial planners only.
Okay, from Yvonne Martin Morrison, asks if you can please share your comments about the relationship component of our work with clients. Traditionally, it's been face-to-face meetings up until about 20 months ago. So face-to-face meetings and conversations that helps build that lasting relationship. How do you see this evolving with digital strategies?
It's not a replacement at all. It's a great question. It's a complement. And I know we've been building a fintech, wealth tech business during COVID, and it's been remote. There's a lot of tech developers we haven't even met yet, and it is a challenge if you haven't met someone before to build any relationship and rapport. So this is not meant to be a replacement. But I think, Peter, once you've met somebody a couple of times and you've built that relationship, then when you get on a video call and you're doing things digitally, it's a little bit easier because you kind of know them and you know what their mannerisms are, and you build a little bit of rapport. So it's really meant to augment and complement. It's not a replacement strategy. You're still going to have to get out, sit down at the kitchen table with clients. But in the environment that we're in now, and heaven forbid if we go to a fifth, sixth wave or what have you, at least you'd have this tool to be able to engage. No, I know. But
well, I know. You're right though. If you can say anything positive of COVID, it's Zoom. It's allowed 60 to 70% of meetings, especially like you said, once you build that relationship, doing client reviews, different things you do that are maybe 25-minute meetings that you want to do periodically through the year. The client's not driving through traffic to your office. So you actually get to build a better relationship because you see them more than you maybe would otherwise because of the convenience of Zoom.
Yeah, I was going to say, you get to see clients more often. You'll get to see more clients too, because if you're driving around the kitchen tables, you've got a practice that's in a rural community. Well, that's really a time suck for you. So this would make it more efficient to be able to see more people more often.
For sure, but you know what you need to do? You need to go around whenever you see a client who you've only seen on Zoom for quite some time and carry a frame with you. And then they'll recognize you when you actually sit them. I'm just going to go into one more here, maybe two. I got two more here on the list, so let's see if we can fit these in. Ryan Colwell asks, and he says, this may be a silly question. Never a silly question, Ryan, just sometimes stupid answers. But he says, what do you mean by digital strategy, cloud storage, digital onboarding, Zoom? I guess it's kind of an all-encompassing question there.
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. I'll try not to give a stupid answer. The difference between a digital tool and a digital strategy is a digital tool is like a single application. So it could be a CRM, it could be a video conferencing. We've used Zoom. In our platform, we actually use a service called Twilio, which is another video conferencing platform. But that would be an example of a digital tool. But a digital strategy, it takes all of these digital tools and combines them together. So you, the user, doesn't need to know what the individual tools are. All you need to know is how the platform works. And behind the scenes, Twilio is giving you video conferencing, and Equifax is giving you ID verification, et cetera. OneSpan's giving you e-signature capabilities. So that's a digital strategy. It's intuitive, it's integrated, it's seamless, and it's all in one. So digital onboarding, I think that was part of his question as well, is really, instead of having to fill out all this paperwork manually, it's all done digitally. And so it's electronic. The client can self-serve and do it themselves, or your administrative team can help them if it's someone that's a little bit challenged in that area. And what's great about that is that you can't proceed until you've got all the information. Like if you miss a box on a paper form or a signature and you, oh my goodness, I got to go back and see them again. Here, if it's missed, it will be flagged. You can go right back, get it filled out, and you can't proceed to the next step, like opening accounts and things, until it's all done, but it's all checked off and it's verified for you.
Question, actually, let's fit in one more here from Terry Ritchie. He said, where do the Canadian banks fall in this area? Will they try to pursue this area to compel consumers to stick with them?
Great question. Banks are challenged.
Bank slamming, I love it.
Yeah, banks are challenged. There's no doubt about it. We did a call last week, and this is a great example with one of the major banks, a branch manager there, a producing manager. I won't tell you which bank, but it starts with B. And anyway, they
sorry, I'm not even going to say what I was going to say.
It's not the B that's, yeah, you can figure it out. Anyway, yeah. I talked to him about having 6 to 8 applications open on his desk, and he started laughing. I said, what, you don't have it? He goes, it's more like 30 or 35 here. And they're all legacy. They don't talk to one another, and it's a real nightmare. So I guess the answer is that the banks know that they're challenged, but they've got such legacy technology, and it's going to be such a huge undertaking to rewire and re-tech everything for them, that they're going to probably come along later rather than sooner. So I think this is a huge advantage. And we've seen this in technology in pretty much every endeavor, is that the small and medium-sized business can actually surpass some of the big ones because they don't have those challenges. They don't have legacy technology. They can go in and recreate what they need, especially if you're starting from scratch. And you can actually give a better offering and have a better platform than some of the real big major financial institutions. And that gives you a huge advantage when you're trying to win those clients over.
Well, thanks, Howard, for your time. Much appreciated. I'm sorry, everyone. I think I got to all of them. Hopefully did, but I'm not sure, Howard, if you can go to other questions if you see them on there. I'm not sure exactly how this works, but I encourage everyone to go. Oh, go ahead.
I do see one. Is it necessary to have a dealer accept something?
Oh, right, at the very top there. Sorry, dealer.
Well, yeah, so that's a great question. So is it necessary that if you're with a dealer, does the dealer have to accept the technology? And the general answer to that, Linda, is yes, because you would have compliance concerns and technology concerns. So this is really kind of an enterprise solution. So you go into the dealer, we would work with the dealer and come up with a solution that works for the dealer, and then that would feed down to the individual advisors. But the advantage for the dealer is going to be streamlined compliance. They get to control the technology and deliver it out to you, and it should be easier than trying to deal with a whole bunch of different digital tools and tech vendors when you've got an all-in-one complete solution. So everything would be baked in. I mean, for example, you're going to send out content to your client. Well, the dealer would approve whatever content you're sending out. So when you go to send an article to engage the client, and it's personalized because the client's told you, I like to receive stuff about cycling, let's say, then it's already approved and you send it out. So you don't have to worry about all that. So it would help you as the advisor as well.
Thank you. Well, can everyone please make sure afterwards you rate Howard's presentation? It's there, it's uploaded. Feel free to go through it again. Maybe there's questions you have that are there and you just didn't see them. Make sure you do the CE credit section at some point through the day. And thanks again, Howard, and everyone. I'm going to be signing off, and we'll be back online at the top of the hour, wherever you are, 8 o'clock here on the West Coast in beautiful Whistler, British Columbia. And we will see you in about 20 minutes time for our next presentation. Thanks again, Howard.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the conference, everyone. Bye for now.